There are many ways to die, but there are only two ways to face death: with hope or without it. And Easter decides which one is real. There are many ways we can lose our lives: through illness, through accidents, through violence, war, murder, and sometimes through suicide when despair becomes unbearable. Humanly speaking, death comes to us in countless forms. But the real question Easter forces us to ask is not how we die, but whether death is the end. Because if Easter is true, if Jesus Christ truly rose from the dead, then death is no longer what we think it is. And that means there are only two ways to die: with hope or without hope, with the Lord or without the Lord. And from a biblical perspective, the deepest divide at death is not how someone dies, but in whom they die. To die without the Lord is to face death as final. No reunion, no restoration, no tomorrow. Death becomes an absolute separation. And I have seen what that looks like. Toward the end of my teaching tenure in Belgrade, Serbia, a friend from the gym asked me to officiate his mother's funeral. Then he said quietly, "If you could say something comforting, something about hope." The difficulty was that his mother was an atheist, and so was he. I kept asking myself, how do you speak of hope at the funeral when death is final? When there is no expectation of ever seeing that person again? And that freezing January day, I did my best. I spoke about gratitude for life, about memories, and about staying positive. And as the funeral came to a close, the casket began to descend, and my friend suddenly fell to his knees and grabbed the ropes and stopped the casket from descending. And then he cried out, "Mother, Mother, I can't bear the thought that I'll never see you again." In that moment, I wasn't witnessing philosophy. I was witnessing hopelessness. I don't share this to suggest that everyone experiences that this way, but to show what dying without hope can look like. And this is where Easter speaks, because Easter is not about spring or tradition or symbolism. Easter is about a claim that a man who was crucified truly died, was buried, and on the third day walked out of his tomb. And everything depends on whether that claim is true. Some people say that Christians believe in the resurrection simply because it brings comfort in the face of death. And it is true, we are all inclined to believe what is comforting. But Christianity is not built on comfort. It is built on a claim about what we believe is true. And the claim comes first. Comfort and hope come after. Because what is at stake is not simply belief, but whether hope is real. If Easter is only a story, then what we witness at funerals is all there is. But if Easter did happen, then death is not final. Then hopelessness does not have the last word. Then funerals are not the end of the story. A little over a month before his death, the atheist philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre admitted something remarkable. After a lifetime of rejecting God, he confessed that he no longer knew whether he would die in despair or in hope. And he said, "I would like to die in hope, but hope needs an anchor." And he was right. Hope cannot be invented. It cannot be sustained by willpower. And it cannot survive by an illusion. If it is real, it must be anchored to something stronger than death itself. And this is the claim of Easter, that the anchor exists, that Jesus Christ did not remain in the grave, that death did not hold him, and that because he lives, hope is not wishful thinking, it is a reality. And Sartre was right. Hope needs an anchor. Easter declares that the anchor exists because something happened in history and because there is evidence that is true. Hope is real. And that is why there are only two ways to die: with hope or without hope, with the Lord or without the Lord. Because of Easter, death is not the end. Truth comes first. And because the resurrection is true, hope is real.